My channel, where science, technology, engineering, and math are made easy. Today I'm going to be pivoting away from Python programming. I will come back to that in a while. Right now I want to focus on circuit boards. This is used in electronics or digital electronics, and if you're studying those, you'll find this really helpful. Today we're going to be learning about series circuits, which are the most simple, basic type of circuit. Now, what is a series circuit? Well, it's a circuit where electricity can only flow in one way. It can only flow in one direction, as you can see with this box. Now, what is this box? Well, it's called a schematic, and it's like a picture of where the components go in the circuit board. So I'm going to break each of the four components down, and once I'm done explaining the theory, I'm going to show you the practicality and how to make it. So we first of all start off with the 9-volt battery. You see the positive, now it has 9 volt, the battery has 9 volts. And you see the positive? Well, electricity flows positive to negative. So this is positive and that's negative. So it's flowing positively throughout the circuit back to the negative down here. So the first thing you do is you tie the 9-volt battery to the circuit board starting from the positive side. So the 9-volt battery is tied to the circuit board, and electricity flows up and it meets this. Now, what is this? Well, it's a 1K resistor. And what is a resistor, you ask? Well, it is an electrical component that limits electricity. Because certain components can only take certain amounts of electricity, and if you just plug the 9 volts into it, they would explode. You'll soon see a component like that very soon. So the resistors are a necessary part of electronics to make sure our computers and our laptops and our game devices are functional. So it goes past the resistor to the switch. Now if the switch isn't pressed, electricity just goes up from the 9 volts through the resistor and stops. But when the switch is pressed, it goes through the 9 volts, the resistor, and the switch down to the LED. Now, what is an LED, you may ask? Well, it's a light emitting diode. You know, like Christmas lights? Those are LEDs. Now, a diode forces electricity in only one direction, which is very helpful for a series circuit because electricity only flows one way. Now, remember earlier how I said we need resistors? Let's imagine like a resistor doesn't exist in this circuit. So we tie the 9-volt battery to the circuit board, it would flow up, you press the button and it goes across, and the LED explodes. So this can only handle so much voltage. So the resistor stops some of the voltage and it makes it work. So here's how the working circuit works. So the 9 volt goes up, the resistor stops some of it, the switch is pressed, the LED turns on, the negative electricity goes to ground. Now that I've explained all the theory, let's make the official product. Let's get all the parts. So we need a 9-volt battery, we need a breadboard, we need a resistor, we need an LED, and we need a push button. I'm going to maneuver the battery and circuit into place. Now, whenever you're using a schematic, remember this. The schematic is God. I'm going to say this one more time. The schematic is God. You always copy the schematic religiously and do exactly as it says. Because one little error and the circuit doesn't work. It's not like math, like a math test. You get 99 of the math problems right and you still get an A. With this, if you make one tiny little mistake, the circuit doesn't work. So you have to get it perfectly. So let's start off with the alligator clips. So it goes to the positive of the battery to the positive bus bar of the circuit board. So there's a positive part of the circuit board and a negative part of the circuit board. So they're both called bus bars, the positive bus bar and the negative bus bar. And the negative bus bar is oftentimes usually called ground. So now let's bring in some wires to connect. Now let's look at our circuit. So the 9-volt battery is connected to the circuit. So we're going to use wires to do that. So electricity goes from the battery to the bus bar to the circuit. Then it flows to the 1K resistor, which it's 1 kilo ohms. Then the 1 kilo ohm resistor is tied to a switch. And the switch is tied to the LED. I'm sorry that my screen grew dark. It's just I'm running out of energy, so forgive me for that. So there's two parts of a LED. There's an anode and cathode. Anode is positive, cathode is negative. Since electricity flows from positive all the way to negative, we're going to have the anode out first. So I'm going to maneuver this into place. And then we're going to have a wire connecting it to ground. We're going to have to bring an alligator clip, as we did for the positive on the battery, for the negative. So this is a functional circuit. Now I'm going to test it out. You press the button and it turns on. Press the button and it turns on. One more time, press the button and it turns on. And folks, that's all I really have for you today. So please tell me how I can do better on my channel, and I'll have a link in the description to a website. It's a young website and it's very rough around the edges. Around a year from now, I'll start updating it. And folks, that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.